This week we'll fix our contour plots so that we have a complete contour plot that we can view in Google Earth or any other KML KMZ viewer. Welcome to another MetPy Monday. Hello, I'm John Lehman, a software engineer for Unidata. This week we're going to pick up where we left off last week, so if you haven't seen the last couple of videos in this series, you should go check those out. We had made a KMZ file of temperature contours from the Oklahoma mesonet that looked like this. But there's clearly something wrong. So this week we're going to go about solving it. And to be perfectly honest, when I first saw this, I had no idea what was going on. But I'm going to take you through the process that I used to figure it out, and we're going to fix it. So the first thing I notice is that it appears to be one contour that's affected. And it's this medium blue shade here that goes through woodward, ceiling. And I notice that it has islands of a different contour in it. Now, so does this contour. It has an island here. And there might be a little bit of oddness going on. It's hard to tell. But I see these little white lines cutting through. So it looks like to me there's something going on with multiple polygons of the same temperature contour value, potentially. So that's a hypothesis that I can test. And let's go to a notebook and see what we can find out. So while I'm in my notebook, I look at this contour plot up here. And I say, yeah, I can potentially see we've got an island, an island, an island. Okay, yeah, I see what might be going on. But how do we verify that? How can we even find the problem? Well, I'm going to put some of everybody's favorite debug print statements in. So after xpyp, I'm going to say something like print path j has len xp points. I want to see, maybe it has to do with paths that only have 2 points or 1 point, 2 or fewer. Maybe that doesn't make a complete polygon and that confuses Google Earth. So that's one theory. So let's start out there. All right, so we go through our collections. These will be our different contour levels. 52, 13, 4, 8, 52, 29, 2. So there's one that has 2 points. There's another that has 2 points. All right, so maybe it has to do with the contour only having 2 points. And really, if the contour only has 2 points, I probably don't want to plot it anyway. So how can we do that? Well, we could put an if statement in here. It says something like, if the length of xp is greater than 2, then we want to do all this plotting. Otherwise, we don't bother. So we'll go up here to our KML file creation, rerun these cells, and we'll open that in Google Earth. Well, unfortunately, no. That may have helped clean up our map a little bit, just from some random tiny contours, but we still have our main symptom. So we're back to the drawing board to figure out what's wrong. The next thing that I would probably do is start making some plots. So we're in each collection, in each path. I could just do some pretty simple let's just do initially a plot.plot xpyp. And so this gives me one plot with all the different paths plotted in different colors. So I can see, yeah, here's one of those little faint white lines that we saw running across where we don't have any data. That looks suspicious. This is the shape of what's incorrect. in the Google Earth view, these lines are running across here right through the middle of this little island contour here. Okay, so now we need to isolate it down a little bit further. And what I'm going to do is just find which collection that's in. So I'm going to change my if statement here. We'll say if len xp greater than 2, we'll keep that part. And I'm going to pick the collection I is equal to 0. So this is going to say, let me only plot the 0th collection. Everything else, we're going to ignore it for now. So I'm going to go back up, rerun, and reopen in Google Earth. Okay, well, this one's clearly not the problem. We do have 2 polygons, but they're in no way connected. And both of them look fine to me. Okay, so we'll keep going through. And when I was troubleshooting this, I went through collection by collection until I found that the 3rd collection had our issue. So in here, I'm going to say I equals 3. It's the 4th thing, but the 3rd index. And again, we'll recreate our KML file, our KMZ file. And here's our problem. So what we can tell is that we've got some isolated polygons that are doing great, but then if you sort of think of this as a pin, we're not picking up the pin between polygons. We're continuing to drag it, and when it's cross-cutting other polygons, we're getting some not great behavior. So what we need to do is separate out in each contour level or each collection into individual polygons and then create those individually in our KML or KMZ file. Now I could think of a few ways to do this. We could examine the starting and end points, and once we've made a complete contour, we know that we're going to pick up the pin because we've done one polygon all the way around. But luckily there are some built-ins that can help us here as well. So for k, polypoints in enumerate, and I'm just using these enumerations as a convenient way for us to keep track of what's going on. So now we've got a path, and there's a method called toPolygons on that path, which is going to separate everything, all the unique polygons in that path, in that collection. All right, so now we've got polypoints. We can remove the vertices line. X is going to be polypoints all rows 0th column, or the 0th, all 0th elements in the first dimension, if you will. Polypoints again. Okay, we're going to do our transformation, just as we had done before. That seems to make sense. I'm going to leave our logic in here right now for the 3rd collection, and only where we have 2 or more points, or sorry, more than 2 points. And let's see what happens if we run this. All right, we've completed. We'll load it up in Google Earth. All right, so we've made some progress. Now what we can see is that in that collection, there are 2 distinct contour levels, and those levels have fully embedded polygons, which is what was causing us an issue. By breaking those up to where each polygon gets plotted as its own object, everything plots just fine. So now we can go back into our code and plot all of the collections. Okay, so I'm going to remove the I must be equal to 3 condition. And we'll recreate our KMZ file. And there we go. Now we have our filled contour map of temperatures from the Oklahoma Mesonet as a KMZ file that we can display in GIS software. So there was a little bit of pain in that. We had to figure some things out. We had to do some troubleshooting. We had to use pandas to do data processing, learn a new library, simple KML, and learn how to interact with it. So this is a very good real-life example of a problem that you may be faced with, and some of the footwork that you're going to have to do to figure out how to use this and the problems that arise. I hope that you found this useful, and I'll see you on next week's MetPy Monday.